I'm Matt Wolford, president of the IHSAA Foundation, and we need your help. We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to ihsaafoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Garrett High School in the Class 3A Sectional 21 Championship game. It's an all-SAC matchup. We're not exactly an SAC country, but it's two SAC teams coming together for this sectional championship game. The Saints of Bishop Dwenger versus the Cadets of Concordia. Well, it's kind of been a progressive improvement, but Concordia has gotten a lot better over the last few years. You think back to 2021, they went 8-15 that year. But then in 2022, the Cadets improved to 13-12, and this year they finished 18-6 and finished second place in the SAC. Second place behind, of course, the Wayne Generals. Concordia gave the Generals quite a battle in the regular season, but it was not enough to unseat Wayne, and Wayne, of course, went on to win the conference tournament. But it's been a great season nonetheless for Concordia, a season where they have knocked off the likes of Norwell and Homestead en route to this 18-6 record that they currently have. Also a win against Carroll, a much improved Carroll team, and a win against New Haven. New Haven is under 500, but they have a lot of speed, especially the likes of Darion Brooks and JoJo Robertson. Even their front court guys, Jeremiah Cottrell and James Hardy, provide a lot of speed. Now for Concordia, Johnny Washington is the team's leading scorer. He was held to 10 points in the game against Woodland this past Saturday. That was a huge win for Concordia. Woodland being one of the best teams in their conference. Concordia was able to beat them by 10 points in that particular game. Like I said, Johnny Washington is the leading scorer for Concordia. He averages right about 15 points per game. Cole Hayworth averages just over 10 points per game. However, he is out with a concussion. And Hayworth provides a lot of size and some great outside shooting for the Cadets. He's 6'5" and a good three-point shooter. Shoots it at 31%, shoots at 46% from the field. But he's out with a concussion, not going to be able to play. Now, Concordia does have some good shooters, even with Hayworth on the bench. Joe Tapp shoots at 49% from the field. He's only averaging 7.5 points per game, but all in all, he's shooting well as far as percentage goes, and he's hitting his threes. He's hit 40% of his threes on the season so far. And David Speckard is also a great shooter. He's averaging just over 10 points per game. He's shooting it at 46% from the field and shooting the three at 39%. So those guys can certainly light it up on any given night. Avery Cook gives him a good defensive boost. Not a great scorer, not a high scorer at least at this point in his career. Now, he is a sophomore, so who knows? He could grow into that elite type of scorer the next couple of years. Right now, he does bring good defense to the table. You'll often see him guarding some of the better players in the area. Kalen Williams-Thomas, another sophomore guard, can give the Cadets a good boost off the bench. As far as scoring goes, he's just averaging 4.4 points per game so far this year. But when he's in the game, he can go quick, he can shoot it well, he can play really good defense. He gives the Cadets a great boost off the bench. Now, in the post, Concordia does have Alan Termolin available as well as Grant Hayworth. Those guys do provide some size. Neither of them are high scorers, but Termolin stands at 6'6" and Hayworth at 6'5", and those guys could be especially needed tonight because Dwenger has got some big men of their own. We'll talk about them in just a second. You're watching the sectional championship game at Garrett High School on SummitCitySports.com and IHSAATV.org.
You're good at basement basketball.
we're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
Welcome back to Garrett High School. This is the Class 3A Sectional 21 Sectional Championship game at Garrett High School in Garrett, Indiana. We talked about this Concordia team. Bishop Dwenger comes into this game at 11-13. Now, they had a rough start to the season. They were 1-9 their first 10 games, with the Saints starting with a game on the road against New Haven were able to battle back and have a solid finish to the regular season. They currently sit at 11-13, 9-13 for the regular season. And while Dwenger did not beat Homestead early in the season, they gave them a good ball game. They ended up losing that game by a final score of 50-48. However, in January, the Saints went on the road to Blackhawk Christian and knocked off the Braves 64-61. Now, the Braves captured a sectional championship over at South Adams just a few days ago. That was back on Saturday. They're headed to regionals. Winner of this game is headed to regionals. Now, Dwenger, not only hoping it's them, Dwenger has one thing that the last two teams didn't really have, at least not as much as Dwenger has. Dwenger has some post players who can score on a very consistent basis. Preston Ross is the leading scorer coming into this game. He averages 13.5 points per game, also a good rebounder. He averages 8.2 per game. And Caleb Lehrman averages 10.2 points per game, and he's also snagged 6 rebounds per game. Caleb Lehrman, the younger brother of Indiana Tech star Lucas Lehrman. You'll get a chance to see him tomorrow afternoon when Indiana Tech takes the floor in the NAIA tournament. But Caleb Lehrman providing a big boost down in the post for Bishop Dwenger this year. Now, if you want guard play, Dwenger certainly got some of that as well. Sam Campbell is the second leading scorer on this team. He averages 11.4 points per game. He's shooting the three at 38%, 74% from the free throw line. And who knows how much of an impact that could have as this game comes down the stretch. Bishop Dwenger versus Concordia in just a matter of moments. While we got a chance, we will get a few words in from our sponsors. Big Eyed Fish has been around the Northeast Indiana area for generations. Like their Facebook pages for updated promotions and enjoy the best fish in Fort Wayne in a family-friendly environment at Big Eyed Fish. Kelly Automotive Group is celebrating their 70th year in business. Shop all 14 of their dealerships and contact them at brands@drivekelly.com. At Ottenweller Contracting, we invest in our customers by providing peace of mind during the entire process from bid to build. Visit OttenwellerContracting.com to learn more. Summit Volleyball trains and builds the highest quality volleyball players in the area. From ages 5 to 18, our players are equipped with elite level skills and a foundation of life skills. Jump on board. Together, we can reach the summit. Tom Steele Tire has been servicing the Fort Wayne area for over 40 years. They will help you find the perfect tire for your vehicle and other auto repair services like brakes, wheel alignments, engine diagnostics, and more. Anderson Heating and Air Conditioning is dedicated to providing the best possible solution for your home or business. A system and solution that fits your unique needs. Visit AndersonCoolHeat.com. Are you ready to do what it takes to put your past behind you? Whether it's expunging your criminal record or helping to get your driver's license reinstated, Jolly Law Firm is your answer, and the Chief Counsel, David Jolly. You can contact him at attorney David Jolly at msn.com or over the phone at 260-426-0242. Shioka Cleaning and Restoration, providing top-notch commercial cleaning services, including janitorial, water damage, and state-of-the-art disinfecting services throughout Northeast Indiana. For more information, call Shioka Cleaning and Restoration at 260-483-2112 or visit them on the web at siokas.com. Online degree programs at the University of St. Francis are built for convenience and flexibility. Most degrees can be completed in 12 months. Visit online.sf.edu for more information. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it's game on. We serve every level of athlete with our integrated sports medicine team, including the region's only specialized athletic rehab facility. Learn more about our services by logging on to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. Today's broadcast is brought to you by SummitCitySports.com. Follow us on Twitter at 260sports, like our Facebook page, Summit City Sports, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Well, as Enter Sandman gets done, we are just about ready to get the starting lineups announced here at Garrett High School. Back after this word from another one of our sponsors. You're watching the Class 3A Sectional 21 Championship game on SummitCitySports.com. And right now we're going to hear from a former Fort Wayne athlete.
This has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really –
Many thanks to Bernard Pollard for his support for the stuff that we do. Of course, Bernard Pollard was a former Southside athlete. If you're a New England Patriots fan, you might remember him for various reasons. I'm not a Patriots fan, by the way. But there was something he did against the Patriots back in 2008 that probably does not sit well with folks from the great state of Massachusetts. Do your research on that one if you want to know. In the meantime, Concordia taking on Bishop Dwenger here in just a matter of moments. But first, we're going to have the national anthem and the introduction of the starting lineups. You're watching the Class 3A Sectional 21 Championship game here at Garrett High School.
And now welcome to IHSA events. Let's support the student athletes, coaches, officials, and your fellow fans with the respect they deserve. Your cooperation is appreciated. Please enjoy the game. Now, would you please rise, gentlemen, remove your caps, and join us for our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Garrett High School's main gym for the IHSA Basketball Sectional 21 Championship game. Here are your starting lineups for the night game. For the visitors on the scoreboard, the Bishop Dwenger Saints. Here are your starters for this evening. A 5'11" senior, number 5, Samuel Campbell. A 6'8" junior, number 5, Jacob. A 6'3" senior, High School Cadets. A 6'1" sophomore, number 2, Avery Cook. A 6'2" junior, number 12, Johnny Washington. A 6'5" senior, Johnny, number 15, David Speckard. A 6'6" senior, wearing number 21, Alan Turmolen. Last but not least, the 6'3" senior, number 24, Joseph Tapp. Concordia Cadets are coached by Phil Brackman. This evening's officials are Brian Allen, Lynn Clemens, and Scott Geist. Good luck, players.
Well, we are ready to start. We are ready to start here at Garrett High School. Concordia versus Bishop Dwenger, and it's going to be Joe Tapp tipping off against Caleb Lehrman, and the Saints win the opening tip. That is Sam Campbell running the point, and he'll give it up to Caleb Lehrman at the top of the key. Lehrman drives into the paint, spins around, and gets fouled. An early foul against the Cadets, and it'll send Caleb Lehrman to the free throw line. Lehrman shooting it at 56% from the charity stripe, but one thing to watch out for in this game is Dwenger does have the two big men that they start on the court that can both score consistently in the post, as Lehrman gets the Saints on the board. He goes 2 for 2. Here's Avery Cook. He's got Washington down low. We'll go back outside to Tapp, and Tapp has been shooting it well from beyond the arc, but the Saints come out in a 2-3 zone here to start out. Might have actually shifted into a 3-2 instead. Here's Tapp. Gives that one up to Cook. And now the Saints are in the 3-2. The lob over to Speckard. He can hit from the outside. They got Turmolen, who was down low, shifts out to the free throw line. Turmolen looking for it. Now Cook goes in the middle of the zone. Long possession here for Concordia, forced by this Dwenger zone. Tapp goes outside to Cook. Looked like he was thinking about a three. Cook's a guy who is only averaging 2 points per game, but has been shooting it fairly well from three when he has shot it. Washington comes up short on his first attempt, and it's Lehrman who grabs the board for Dwenger. Pull-up jumper is no good. And an offensive rebound by the Saints, but it's taken away by Tapp. And Tapp gets fouled going back in transition. They call the foul on Aslan Nolan. Baseline drive, Tapp cut off and double teamed, and he threw it off the foot of Preston Ross. Wide open is Turmolen. He lets it fly, book it. And Concordia takes the lead on Turmolen's three. Campbell dishes it off. Three ball on the way. Won't go, and Speckard is there for the board. Joe Tapp feeds it outside to Avery Cook. He finds Washington. Wide open is Cook. He's going to let it fly. Not that time. Sam Campbell gets it, trying to get out and run. Campbell gets it over to Cameron Quinlan. They faked the pass there. That was Nolan. It's guarded by Washington. It's a man-to-man defense here for Concordia. A catch-and-shoot three. Sam Campbell off the mark. And Termolen's got the board. Dwenger's used a lot of zone, and they're back in the 3-2 here. There's Washington on the drive. Has to dish it out to Cook. Avery Cook was the hero of the game against Carroll earlier this year. That was Concordia's home opener. Was fouled on a three-point attempt. He hit all three of his free throws and won the game for the Cadets. Washington in and out. Offensive board. Speckard is fouled. Speckard is true on his first free throw. He goes 1 for 2, though. The rebound by Caleb Lehrman. Aslan Nolan gets fouled. That's going to be on a Johnny Washington. The ball will go to Sam Campbell. They get Ross his first touchdown low. High off the glass, it's too strong, and Washington chases it down. Well, so far the Bigs not causing a lot of trouble for Concordia as Joe Tapp scores on the reverse. Concordia able to get out and run in transition, and Tapp putting it home. Campbell around the screen. Ross leaning in, no good. Washington going for it. So is Lehrman, and Washington knocked it out right in front of Matt Kostoff, the head coach at Bishop Dwenger. Now, Matt Kostoff, he's a longtime head coach for the Saints. He's won 4 sectional championships and I believe 2 regionals, if I'm not mistaken. Here's Sam Campbell with the lob to Ross. Ross backing in against Termolen, zips it outside. Quinlan looking for help. He finds it. That's Ross. Offensive foul. And that looked like the right call. Looked like he leaned in with the shoulder. Avery Cook draws the charge. Well, we'll get another look at this. Beg your pardon, we'll save that for later. Whistles blow, and do we have a foul away from the ball? Oh, bench warning. Sounds like a bench warning against Dwenger. So the Concordia fans here were saying tee him up. They did not tee him up, though. 3-2 zone here by the Saints. Washington had a look from the corner. Campbell closed in on him just in time, though, as Dwenger continues with this 3-2 zone. Trying to keep Concordia from using dribble penetration. Little floater on the baseline. It's tapped, won't go, and the rebound comes down to Ross. Ball's out of bounds. Looks like Dwenger is going to get the possession here.
So sitting in for the Cadets is number 32, Grant Hayworth.
Grant Hayworth will come into the game, and he gives the Cadets a little bit more size. 6'5" is where he stands as far as his height is concerned. Preston Ross away from the basket. He's got Termolin on him. Ross with the left hand, no good, and Termolin was in great position to get that board. Good job defensively by Termolin. Washington finds Cook. Cook wanted to rise up for the shot, did not have the look though. Washington on the attack, and that's going to be traveling. You could see that from just about a mile away. Washington took at least 3 steps with the basketball. Campbell guarded by Cook. He goes for the lob, and Preston Ross jams it down. Little alley-oop action to Preston Ross. Well, that's one thing that a couple of big men can do for you. Ross on the board for the first time, and it was only a matter of time before one of those bigs gave the Saints a make from the field. 3 ball is good. Johnny Washington from downtown, and he's on the board for the first time. Driving inside and scoring, I believe that was Ross, and indeed it was. Back-to-back buckets, or Aslan Nolan with the bucket that time. Washington wants the step back. We're inside the final minute of the first half. We'll update our score here. It's 8-6. They called that last bucket by Washington a 2 and not a 3. Here comes Nolan. And now Dwenger could hold for the final shot. They find Ross. He's double-teamed down low, flips it up, and it rolls right in, and Dwenger has tied the game. So 4 points early on for Preston Ross as we approach the 30-second mark. Looks like Concordia is going to hold for the final shot of the first quarter. It's Washington with the ball. He'll hand that one off to Joe Tapp. Tapp through traffic, tried to bank it home, and Ross has it. He'll just flip it down the floor and send the first quarter to an end. Well, Concordia and Dwenger tied at 8 apiece. We will go to the second quarter here in just a moment on SummitCitySports.com and IHSAATV.org.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
We start the second quarter with Concordia and Dwenger tied at 8 apiece. It's a Johnny Washington who feeds it over to Kalen Williams-Thomas, and you had a hunch that maybe he was going to get in at some point off the bench. Tends to give the Cadets a good boost when he's in the game. 3 seconds in the lane is the call, and it's going back to Dwenger. They kick it outside to Sam Campbell. Campbell around the screen from Ross. Goes back outside to Ethan Roy. Ethan Roy's a 5'11 senior. Quinlan on the drive. He's got Tap guarding him. Feeds it back outside. Ross trying to back in. And the basket is good. Stellan Rustin puts it home to give Dwenger the lead. They swing it back outside to Williams-Thomas. Concordia has won against both Leo and Woodland so far in this series. That's a carry called on Washington, and Dwenger's going to take over. Bishop Dwenger played a close game against Concordia in the regular season. That was at Dwenger. The Cadets won the game, but Dwenger took him to overtime. That three won't fall. Termolin has the board for the Cadets. Williams-Thomas across the timeline. Pulls up from the free throw line, couldn't hit. And Preston Ross has the board. Foul is called. Preston Ross was going for the basket. Grant Hayworth called for the foul. That's his first. Each team has committed 3 fouls so far. There's 2 minutes into the second quarter. But for a second there, it looked like Ethan Roy had a catch-and-shoot chance. Ross against 2 defenders, no trouble at all. Adds to the lead for the Saints. Go back outside to Washington. He finds Termolin. Speckard, he can hit from out there, and he does. David Speckard knocks down the triple to get it to a 1-point game. That's Speckard's first 3 of the game, but he's shooting it at 39% coming into this game, and there's Speckard with a takeaway. He's got Washington to his right, but Speckard stepped out of bounds. That was an easy bucket waiting to happen. David Speckard had the steal and ran out of space. We'll give you a look at that on our Traction AP replay. Yeah, there's the steal, and it was pretty easy. Boy, if he stepped out, he may have gotten a heel on the line. I'm not sure. Three ball wide open, but it's no good. Williams-Thomas has the board for Concordia. Williams-Thomas down the floor to the basket, left it short. It's pulled down by Termolin, and he puts it back. A back-and-forth game so far. Termolin, his first bucket since an early 3. That was Concordia's first field goal. Gave him a 3-2 lead. Now he gives him a 13-12 lead. Pull-up jumper comes up short. Tapped out. Cook had a chance at it. Now Speckard has it. Here's Williams out ahead of the pack, and he traveled. You have got to put that ball on the deck. The Dwenger crowd is letting him hear about it. Yeah, it looked like Williams-Thomas took 3 steps. Now, he's a sophomore, and he's showed a lot of promise. But that's one of those learning moments that any young athlete is going to go through. Lehrman with Hayworth on him. He'll find Campbell. Lehrman sets the screen for Campbell. They try to slip it to him. Cole Hayworth was right in front of him, and somehow he found Speckard. But Speckard has all kinds of defenders on him, and that's an offensive foul. Dwenger got back on defense, and Speckard lowered the shoulder. Looked like he lowered it right into Aslan Nolan. Concordia has had some transition opportunities, but they have not been able to cash in on them. In some cases because of turnovers. In that case, it was because of the foul on Speckart. It's the fourth team foul against the Cadets. Speckart's second. Preston Ross, one-on-one, too strong. Now, a number of times, Concordia has been able to get bodies around the Dwenger bigs. That time, Ross had position and couldn't hit the shot. Tap, slows down, looking for help. He finds it with Williams-Thomas. Tap from the corner. He can hit the three, but he missed that one. And there to collect the rebound is Caleb Lehrman. They go with the entry pass. It's taken from behind, but Tap's called for the foul. That gets three guys on the Concordia bench up. And it draws the boo birds as well from the Concordia crowd. They're going to call it on Grant Hayworth. Cole Hayworth's out with a concussion. What I heard, he suffered that concussion in the Leo game. As I recall, though, he did get 10 points in that one. There's a foul on Termolin. Trying to battle with Preston Ross, and you knew that was going to be a difficulty for Concordia coming into this game, dealing with these Dwenger bigs. Preston Ross making it a tough one-on-one matchup down low. Preston Ross so far has 6 points in the game. He leads all Dwenger scorers, and he'll add to that score and has a chance to give the Saints the lead. Missed the second one, and there for the board is Grant Hayworth. Get it over to Avery Cook. We're inside 3 minutes to go. Dwenger's been pretty consistent with this 3-2 zone. Concordia does have some guys who can dribble penetrate. That's one of them, Washington. Tap running out of room, and he was fouled on the baseline. You thought for a moment they would call him for stepping out. Instead, the Saints commit a foul. And it's on Caleb Lehrman. That's Lehrman's second. Now, Lehrman hasn't been scoring a whole lot of points in this game. He's got 2 early free throws. Of course, things can change as the game goes on. Termolin wanted the pull-up J. Tapped around and out of bounds. Concordia will keep the ball. I mentioned Matt Kostoff, the head coach at Dwenger, has led the Saints to 4 sectional titles. His last one was in 2015, and Saints added a regional title to that. They finished the season at 14-14. Tough catch there by Avery Cook. Goes back outside to Washington. Washington still trying to get it going. Tough pass. Cook battling for it to the deck. And that was touched by the Saints. Washington comes up with it. His shot rattles out. Termolin the board. Count it! And a foul. A nearly broken possession, and Termolin turns it into points. Gives the lead right back to Concordia. Termolin right now is the leading scorer for the Cadets, including a couple of offensive putbacks, both of them here in this quarter. But he missed the free throw, and Ross has the board. And Ross has an easy size advantage over Joe Tapp. Looked like he was the closest guy to him. Here's Campbell. Concordia has continued to use the man-to-man. They barely close in on Stellan Rustin just in time. That's Cook guarding Campbell, and he continues to guard some really good ball players. Campbell got open there on the screen. Here's Ross against multiple defenders, too high. And the rebound comes out to Washington. Washington looking for space, not much there. Foul is called. Looks like it's on the Saints. Looked like they pointed at Ethan Roy initially. And it turns out that is who it's on. Well, they do have an upper stand level here at Garrett High School, and the lower level looks like it's, well, not completely full, but the Concordia and Dwenger fans have filed in here to Garrett High School rather nicely. We're here on the side where the Garrett fans, or excuse me, the Dwenger fans are sitting. Concordia fans are across from us. Washington with the lob into Joe Tapp. That foul on Roy, by the way, was his first. It is, however, the sixth-team foul on the Saints, so each team is now in the bonus. Tough shot. Termolin gets it back. The putback goes. Boy, Alan Termolin is doing some work on that glass. Six of his 9 points have come from offensive putbacks. There's a baseline drive by Quinlan. He's cut off by Joe Tapp. That is a long three by Ethan Roy. It's an air ball heading out of bounds. Concordia takes over. And the Concordia student section letting them hear it. By the way, it's worth mentioning, Garrett High School, their mascot is the Railroaders, and they represent that mascot quite well in this gymnasium. You might have noticed a Union Pacific logo right behind the student section. Of course, there's the Amtrak logo. They don't have an Amtrak station here in Garrett, though. The closest one to here, at least that I know of, is in Waterloo. But they do have a CSX yard here in Garrett, which was once owned, if I'm not mistaken, it was by the Baltimore in Ohio, one of CSX's predecessors. That's in talking to athletic director Chris Depew a few years ago. Garrett is frequently a host of boys sectional basketball. They have hosted girls sectional basketball. That was in 2021. So we were still coming off the shelter in place from COVID-19. There's 42 seconds on the clock, and Johnny Washington has taken some time off that clock. He can afford to do that with there not being a shot clock in Indiana high school basketball. And also with Concordia having this 4-point lead. Now Avery Cook will let some time tick off. Speaking of Baltimore and Ohio, there's one of their logos. More on that coming up later as Cook directs traffic. Saints look like they've switched into a 1-3-1. Down to 5 seconds. Offensive foul. Sam Campbell draws the charge. Now that's the 7th team foul against Concordia, but since it's an offensive foul, it does not mean free throws. But Sam Campbell with a great play to take the ball out of Washington's hands. It's one of those plays that won't show up in the stat sheet. And a lot of the stuff that Sam Campbell does show up in the stat sheet. He could do something like that right here as he drives to the basket. It rolls off the rim, and the quarter closes out. The half closes out. It is Concordia with the lead, 17-13 over Bishop Dwenger. And while we have a moment, we'll go ahead and get another word from our good friends at Parkview Sports Medicine. At Parkview Sports Medicine, it is game on. We are the region's largest integrated sports medicine team, providing athletes specialized services from improving their performance to recovering from injuries. To learn more, go to parkviewsportsmedicine.com. Well, Concordia with the lead, 17-13, but Bishop Dwenger giving them a good battle. We'll go ahead and give you the first half statistics for this one so far. For Dwenger, their leading scorer is Preston Ross. He's got 7 points, been playing rather well down low in the post for the Saints, and you had a feeling that that would be the case coming into this game. Aslan Nolan has added 4 points to the Saints' efforts tonight. Got 2 points from Caleb Lehrman, 2 points from Stellan Rustin. For Concordia, Alan Termolen is their leading scorer. He's got 9 points in the game. David Speckard has 4. Ajani Washington has 2. And Joe Tapp also has 2. Rather low scoring for the most part, but Alan Termolen on the offensive glass has made a big boost for Concordia. 6 of his 9 points have been off of offensive putbacks. And that's a big reason why Concordia has this 17-13 lead that they are currently enjoying. But we still got another half of basketball left to play here at Garrett High School. We will be right back in just a matter of moments on this broadcast of the Class 3A Sectional 21 Championship game in Garrett, Indiana. Brought to you by SummitCitySports.com and IHSAATV.org.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
I just want to be the best in basketball, so I want to be the greatest of all time to play women's basketball. So I just know there's people out there working just as much as me, so I just want to keep working hard and keep that intensity going. And so one day I can pursue my dreams of being in the WNBA and playing overseas. So I just want bigger things to come in my life.
I remember when I started in March, she could do 0 pull-ups. She did have a great 25-inch vertical when she first started. She only weighed 150 pounds. One of our main mottos is do the simple things exceedingly well, and that's where we started. So we started the foundation, building her base, and now we've got to basically the peak of our pyramid of things that we can do with her. So we didn't skip any levels. We did all the basics, and she got really, really good at them, and that's what's led her to become as great as she is at basketball and performance.
I've watched her grow, the confidence-wise, the strength-wise, the jumping ability, her footwork. It's really amazing to kind of watch for a girl her size, being 6'3", 6'4", to move like she can move and do the thing and be as agile as she is, along with the strength.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing and science, to the arts, all with a 99% career success rate.
You belong here.
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 I belong here.
Has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.
I like to stay active. I try to come in here at least 3 times a week and just get my 1-hour workout in. Since September, I think I've put on 22 pounds of muscle. I think my vertical has gone up plus 5 inches. I've gotten a lot faster since then, too. I can hit the ball further. In football, I can push people around more. It's basketball easier, too. Just being stronger just makes everything easier.
Brandon started with Gym Rat's basketball training. After one of the sessions, he came up to me and he wanted to know if he could do more. So Brandon started the Edge program in November, in addition to the club training he was doing, because it offers personalized programming for his athletic goals. PSM Performance uses a long-term athletic development pyramid. At such a young age, it's really good for Brandon to set the foundation of athletic development. Since he is in season all year round, he has to be ready for all the physical demands. So he does a lot more strength training, just because in basketball he sprints and cuts a lot. In baseball he's doing a lot of sprinting. In football he does a lot of sprinting and jumping. So preparing him to withstand the physical demands of those games, he does a lot more strength training.
I like all the lower body stuff the best. I do goblet squats, split squats, back squat, front squat, a lot of those. Tyler knows what's best for me. He always points me in the right direction. He just pushes me to go harder every day.
In 4 years, this could be you.
At the University of St. Francis, you'll find everything you need to succeed, from business, nursing and science, to the arts.
You belong here!
Area sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Yo, what's going on? It's Antoine Taylor with Matrix QB. I'm so excited to announce our new book, The Quarterback Toolshed, strictly designed to help you slow the game down so that you can speed up. Whether you're a parent, a coach, or a player, it's jam-packed with information. We're going to help you slow the game down by giving you a mental processor so that you can speed up. This resource has all the things you need, from reading the defense, passing mechanics, pre-snap filters, coverage ID, and much, much more. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to see you on the inside.
How can we help you see today? At A&J Optical, we offer frames for the entire family: Nike, MCM, Timberland, Victoria's Secret, Tom Ford, Clear Eye View, Ray-Ban, Guess, and our own A&J Optical line. We accept most insurance: Davis Vision, iMed, Anthem, United Health, Medicare, and Medicaid. We are located at 3629 North Clinton Street, right next door to Wood & Nickel.
A&J Optical.
(17-13), Concordia with the lead over Bishop Dwenger. Alan Termolin has been winning the battle on the offensive glass, and that's a big reason why Concordia has the lead. Preston Ross has been the dominant of the 2 big men for Dwenger. He's got 7 points so far. So far, all we've seen from Caleb Lehrman is a couple of free throws, but we do still have plenty of basketball left to be played in this game, as the 2 teams will take the floor to start the second half here in just a moment. Reset the fouls, and again, Johnny Washington held to just 2 points so far in this game. He made 1 jumper. Been trying to get it going in the way of dribble penetration so far, but Dwenger has used a 3-2 zone quite frequently. We'll see if they stick with that scheme as the second half gets underway here. They quickly get it into Caleb Lehrman. Here's Ross at the top of the key, goes inside to Lehrman, had it knocked away by Tapp. It's out of bounds, and Concordia will take over. A double team Ross down low, and Those times when Ross and Lehrman have been surrounded by defenders, Concordia has been able to get stops on a consistent basis. Here's Washington coming across the timeline. He'll leave it off for David Speckard. Speckard, the only cadet in this game, he's not the only cadet in this game to hit a three. Termolin has hit one. Lob it cross court. That ball's going out of bounds, and Dwenger's going to take over. Nobody's had to use a timeout yet in this game. Of course, that could change in the second half. Now there's our shout out to the good folks at Parkview Sports Medicine. Always want to make sure we get them their shout outs as Lehrman dishes it outside. Campbell hasn't yet hit a three today. He's been shooting it well from three. Lehrman with the offensive board. Couldn't put it home. He continues to fight. They're going to call Lehrman for going over the back. Well, a good battle by Caleb Lehrman, but in the end, he'll lose the battle because of the offensive foul. It's his third foul of the game. Lehrman has yet to score from the field. And again, when Concordia has been able to surround the big men defensively is when they've been able to get stops. We're going to get a whistle as Washington comes across the timeline. We'll see what's going on here. It's still going to be Concordia ball as the inbound will come from the sideline. I've heard that chant all night long, tee him up. But Concordia, they won their last sectional championship. Josh Eggold was the head coach. As that ball looked like it was kicked, Dwenger recovers. Campbell trying to get around Termolin. He founds Aslan Nolan. Backing down is Ross. Nolan into the paint. Contested shot, in and out. Offensive board, Ross, and he's fouled. Preston Ross had a chance to stretch out the lead for Dwenger, or to cut into the deficit rather, but he still can do that at the free throw line here. David Speckard called for the foul. His older brother Luke Speckard played at Concordia, was a great three-point shooter, much like David. It's Preston Ross. It's Dwenger within three. It's a one-possession game. 8 points for Ross so far in the game, and he goes 2 for 2. Dwenger continues to use this 3-2 zone. Here's Cook. Speckard gonna let it fly. Too short, tap, missed the putback. Campbell came over to save it. Looked like Ross was gonna have an easy rebound, and he almost knocked the ball out of bounds. Last sectional championship for Concordia was back in 2013. They also got a semi-state title that year, and that was with Josh Eggold as the head coach. Another offensive board, Ross, but he missed the putback this time, and Termolin, that's a jump ball. Termolin trying to win another offensive board, and ultimately he will. The arrow favors Concordia. Here's Washington coming across the timeline. And again, they got to deal with that 3-2 zone that Dwenger has used so frequently. Of course, when you're going up against a guy like a Johnny Washington who can score via dribble penetration, the zone can work wonders. Here's some penetration, but blocked. Preston Ross rejects it. He pinned it against the board on the drive-by tap. Campbell the step back. No good. Loose ball. Ross collects it. Missed the putback. Speckard behind the back dribble. Finds Cook out on the wing. Back inside to Speckard. Speckard put it on the deck and scored. David Speckard stretches Concordia's lead out. That's the first field goal of this second half, and we're just over 3 minutes into the half. If I'm not mistaken, Preston Ross gets the bucket there. There's the answer by the Saints. Ross up to 11 points for the game, his first field goal of the second half. You knew the bigs were going to cause some trouble for Concordia, and Preston Ross so far has. There's Washington into the paint. Pull-up jumper. He's fouled. Looks like they're going to get Ethan Roy. And indeed, that is who they call it on. That's Roy's first foul, only the second team foul against Dwenger this half. Of course, free throws so critical, especially in the second half of a sectional championship game. Phil Brockman, the head coach for Concordia, he played at Concordia, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2004 when he graduated, as Washington, who shoots the free throws at over 70%, could not hit that one. But he does get the second. Washington's been held to just 3 points for this game. Aslan Nolan across the timeline. He'll find Campbell. Ross with Termolen on him. Ross, the high floater, he sinks it. Right over Termolen. Ross has scored on Dwenger's last 2 possessions. He's got it down to a 1-point game. Poked away, it's Campbell. Loses the ball, Cook gets after it. Campbell lost his balance going for the steal. But Campbell stays with it again. But so does Cook, and Cook, he's got to be careful. Campbell did foul him, but Cook looked like he threw the shoulder right back at Campbell. That could have easily been called a technical. Joe Tapple put it into a Johnny Washington. Boy, Sam Campbell hustling there on the defensive side, but his hustle in this case has been to no avail. Tap on the drive, finds Termolen. Termolen will spot up. His three is good. Termolen answers for the Cadets. That's Termolen's second three of the game. They're going for the lob to Ross. He makes the catch, but throws it long. Washington. Saints get back on defense, and they get the takeaway. It's Campbell. Behind the back pass. Ross collects it. Count it. And a foul. Preston Ross with some big-time battles as that ball was knocked around, it seemed like 100 times, until Ross finally puts it home. And he's got a chance at a three-point play. That's Termolen's second foul of the game. Ross's free throw doesn't go, and Joe Tapp with the box out. And he's fouled on the pass. He was trying to kick the ball out to Speckard in the corner. The fans behind me showing their displeasure. Of course, this is the Dwenger side of the court that we're on. The Concordia fans are on the other side. Long lob to Termolen, and he makes the catch. Almost turned it over. Now he does turn it over. Boy, he was playing with fire there. Aslan Nolan was right on him. I think he was going for the bounce pass to Washington, but Nolan would not let him have it. They swing it inside, poked away. Speckard got in front. That ball's poked away again. Stellan Rustin stayed with it. Cook looked like he was fouled. They don't call it. Now they call a foul as Rustin collects the board. And yes, my apologies earlier. I said that number 10 was Ethan Roy. Number 10 is Stellan Rustin for Dwenger. Dwenger takes over, 2:25 to go. That's Avery Cook's first foul. All poked away from behind. That's Tapp. And here's Williams Thomas. Saints get back on defense. They slip it out to Speckard. Tapp picks it up. Count the basket and a foul. The Cadets sticking with it as Tapp deposits a loose change. And now we've got a timeout. Looks like it was called by Matt Kostoff and the Saints, and yes, he did. It's a full timeout. Joe Tapp with a big-time bucket down there, and we're going to come back after this break. You're watching Sectional Championship Basketball on SummitCitySports.com.
How can we help you see today? At A&J Optical, we offer frames for the entire family: Nike, MCM, Timberland, Victoria's Secret, Tom Ford, Clear Eye View, Ray-Ban, Guess, and our own A&J Optical line. We accept most insurance: Davis Vision, iMed, Anthem, United Health, Medicare, and Medicaid. We are located at 3629 North Clinton Street, right next door to Wood and Nickel.
A&J Optical.
Well, Joe Tapp made a great play just moments ago, stayed with it after the ball went loose. It was David Speckard who initially created the turnover. Tapp got down the floor, picked up the ball. Dwenger had a chance to force a turnover, but Tapp put it home and then got fouled. And for Joe Tapp, that gives him 4 points for the game. Missed the free throw. Stellan Rustin chases down the board for Dwenger. Cam Quinlan has it. He's been rather quiet in the game so far. Ross feeds it inside Rustin. It was blocked initially on the way up, but it didn't matter. Rustin puts it home. Washington backs it out. They're looking for the lob. Looks like the Saints are going with a 3-2 zone here. They've used a lot of zone in this game, mostly 3-2. Looked like they went 1-3-1 late in the first half, though. Here's Washington. Washington held to just 3 points so far in the game. He's the leading scorer for Concordia coming into this game. And they are without Cole Hayworth. Hayworth suffered a concussion against Leo. Did not play in the Woodland game. Now Kalen Williams-Thomas will run the point. A long possession here by Concordia. Well, there's no shot clock in Indiana high school basketball. Concordia technically could take this all the way down to 2 seconds before they shoot the ball. Don't know if that's what they're going to do here. Williams-Thomas is a long way out. That would have been a long three had he shot it. He's behind the volleyball line. Saints in what looks like a 1-3-1. Stellan Rustin is chasing multiple guys. That looked like it was touched. It was not. Campbell reached out. Looked like he touched it. The officials say he didn't. It's Dwenger basketball. And now with 28.1 seconds left, the Saints with a chance to tie the game or take the lead with a three to close out the third quarter. Stellan Rustin was chasing two guys the better part of that possession. Down to 18 seconds. It's Campbell with the rock. It's been rather quiet so far. Campbell has yet to score, but a good player can get it going at any moment. Campbell with Washington on him. Slips it outside. Quinlan for the tie, too strong. Williams-Thomas collects it, and Concordia will take a 2-point lead into the fourth quarter. These two teams played a good ball game in the regular season. We're getting some of that again here in the sectional championship game. Back for the start of the fourth quarter after this on SummitCitySports.com and IHSATV.org.
Sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Well, somebody's going to be telling the story about a sectional championship game when this is all said and done. Right now it's Concordia with the lead, but Dwenger not going away. Neither team has really had a huge lead in this game. Concordia has led by 4. I believe that's the largest lead they've had so far in this game, perhaps 5. It's not gotten to double digits. Now Caleb Lehrman will feed that one inside. Ross makes the catch and put it in. He was right in front of Alan Termolin. And Preston Ross up to 17 points. He has been the straw that stirs the Dwenger drink tonight. Here's Williams-Thomas in off the bench. He's had a rather quiet night scoring, but we know Williams-Thomas can do a lot of good things with the basketball when he's in off the bench. He's a sophomore, up-and-coming type of player. And here's Washington. Washington's been one of the top scorers at Concordia since his freshman year. Termolin's hit a couple of threes already and hits another one to put Concordia back on top. Timeout is called by Concordia, it looks like, their first. It'll be a 30-second timeout. We'll stay with you for this one. Well, a couple of big-time buckets to start off this half. Here's a look at our first one on our Traction AP replay. Preston Ross got behind Termolin, snatched the ball from him. That almost looked like a one-on-one battle in football between a big wide receiver and a press corner. But moments later, Termolin knocking down a big-time 3 to give Concordia the lead. Alan Termolin has 3 triples in the game, had some big offensive putbacks in the first half, 3 of them in fact. That's how he got 6 of his points. Sam Campbell's been very quiet so far as scoring is concerned. He's a good 3-point shooter, good all-around scorer. Poke from behind, it's Washington. He picked the pocket of Caleb Lehrman. Washington on the attack, has it knocked away. Campbell, well, he hasn't scored much, but he's done a lot of good on the defensive end, but that's traveling on Preston Ross. Sam Campbell, I said he's been quiet. That's really not accurate. He has been hustling on the defensive side of the floor, and he did create a turnover for the Saints, but Preston Ross has been so solid scoring in the post, just gave it right back. Cook is there to save the possession. Washington almost lost control of it. Cook right at the free throw line. They get it to him. Boy, Washington's a long way out. Cook comes out to set the screen. Washington to Termolin in the corner. Termolin comes out, sets the screen. Washington, they double team him off of it. That was Campbell who came out with the help side. Speckar drives, slips it, Termolin. They'll work it back outside. An elongated possession by the Cadets. They're pushing 5.5 minutes. Back outside to Cook. They'll get it to 5.5. It's still just a one-possession game. Washington slows things down. Washington has been looking to score off a dribble penetration. There's some miscommunication, and it's out of bounds. Avery Cook went one way. Washington threw it another way. Cadets took a lot of time off the clock, but there's still a lot of time on the clock for the Saints. Lehrman with Termolen on him. Ross has Grant Hayworth on him. Campbell puts it in. Scoreless no more is Sam Campbell. Concordia was in the sectional championship game last year against Leo. They lost to the Lions. Played another sectional championship against Leo in 2020. The Lions won that one as well. Of course, it was in between that streak that the Lions went on to go to the state championship in 2021. Speckard hands that one off to Washington. 1 point game. Campbell pokes it away, and he's free. 1-on-1. Campbell up and under. That's goaltending. That is an easy call. A go-ahead bucket for Sam Campbell in the end. That ball was on its way through the iron as Sam Campbell puts the Saints on top. 4:10 to go. And the Dwenger crowd showing their approval as they get loud here at Garrett High School. Speckard looking to go baseline. Somehow found a space and somehow scored the basketball. Concordia's back on top. Foul is called. It's going to go on the Cadets. Avery Cook called for his second foul of the game, and Preston Ross goes to the line. It's the first one, and this game is tied. Two for two goes Preston Ross. It's 19 points in the game for Preston Ross. He leads all Dwenger scorers. Back and forth game coming down to the wire here at Garrett High School. Tapp will slip that one over to Cook. Over to Williams-Thomas. Williams-Thomas looking for help, and he throws it long. He was looking for Speckard. The closest guy there was Concordia's head coach, Phil Brockman. And now the Cadets will take a timeout. That's actually, I believe, their second timeout of the game. We'll reflect that, and we'll also go to break here on SummitCitySports.com.
How can we help you see today? At A&J Optical, we offer frames for the entire family: Nike, MCM, Timberland, Victoria's Secret, Tom Ford, Clear Eye View, Ray-Ban, Guess, and our own A&J Optical line. We accept most insurance: Davis Vision, iMed, Anthem, United Health, Medicare, and Medicaid. We are located at 3629 North Clinton Street, right next door to Wood and Nickel.
A&J Optical.
(31-30), Bishop Dwenger with the lead, looking to get to the sectional championship game. Would be their first, looking to get to the regional tournament. Be their first trip to regionals since 2015. They won regionals that year. This is Quinlan looking to feed the ball inside. Campbell brings it back out. Now Dwenger can use as much time as they want to. Lehrman one-on-one with Speckard. Contested shot. Ross the board, and he's fouled on the way up. Preston Ross going right back to the free throw line. He hit 2 free throws on his last trip that gave Dwenger the lead. That's David Speckard's 4th personal foul, I beg your pardon. And Ross is true on the first try. Missed the second one. Who's got the ball? Dwenger did. Did Washington commit a foul? No, Dwenger got the ball back and they got the timeout. Matt Kostoff calls the timeout to preserve the possession for the Saints. And now they can make this a 2-score game. These two teams had a battle royale in the regular season, with Concordia winning that one, but a game that went into overtime. Final score was 47-44. Concordia survived that one, and now Dwenger with a chance to do a similar thing to what they were doing on that last possession, take time off the clock, control the clock, and force Concordia to foul. Concordia's been playing a lot of man-to-man defense in this game. But right now, Dwenger doesn't really even have to shoot the ball per the rules. Sam Campbell to inbound. He had a go-ahead shot not too long ago. He made the shot, and Johnny Washington tried to knock it back through the basket. That was goaltending. Inbound goes to Caleb Lehrman. Try to go to work on Speckard. Campbell for 3. It's short. Offensive rebound. Cameron Quinlan somehow gets it to Ethan Roy. Joe Tapp was bearing down on him. And now foul is called on Cook. That's Avery Cook's 3rd foul of the game. And that's going to be the 6th team foul against Concordia. So Dwenger is now in the bonus. Quinlan was wide open off that inbound. Still over 2 minutes on the clock. Concordia came awful close to fouling there. Cook, a little wraparound chance. Lehrman, offensive foul. It did look like he threw the elbow there at Termolin. Termolin in good position. He draws the charge. Well, the Dwenger fans calling it a flop. It did look, though, like, initially at least, as though Lehrman threw the elbow into him. Lehrman does not have a made shot from the field tonight. Now, if you tune into some Indiana Tech basketball tomorrow, you might see Caleb's older brother, Lucas. Power forward for Indiana Tech. Typically a backup, but plays real well off the bench. There's a Johnny Washington. Quiet for most of the night, but he ties the game. A minute 40 left to go. Campbell dishes to the corner. Nolan missed the 3. Cook has the rebound. Lobs it down the floor for Tapp. And Tapp collects. And he got fouled. That's going to be the 7th team foul on Dwenger, so that'll put Concordia in the bonus. A minute 29 to go. Aslan Nolan called for the foul. It's his 3rd. We do hope you'll stick around after this game's done. We'll try to get the winning head coach over here for a little post-game interview, whoever that might be. Big-time free throw by Cook, and it's not the first time you've seen him do that. More on that after this next free throw. Oh, it rolls right off the iron. Ross with the board. Oh, did Cook commit the foul? Actually, I beg your pardon. It was Tapp who committed the foul. And it was a loose ball foul, so this is going to be free throws for Dwenger. Joe Tapp commits the foul. It's his first, and it'll send Preston Ross to the free throw line. He's got a chance to either tie this game or give Dwenger the lead. I was mentioning Avery Cook. He had those 3 big free throws at the end of the game against Carroll that won the game for Concordia. That was the Cadets' home opener. This is 1-1 for Preston Ross. It's the first one. We're tied. Preston Ross has worked his way up to 21 points for this game. Second one rims out. Washington leaving nothing to chance. Tie game, 1:16. Dwenger looks like they're going with a 2-3 zone here. Washington dribbling some time off the clock. Concordia's done this a few times tonight, but a number of occasions they've had trouble because of turnovers. Now we're down under a minute. That appeared to be the plan. Campbell is lurking. Washington double teamed. He finds Avery Cook. Lob over to Termolin, and Termolin did a good job knowing where he was on the floor, and a timeout taken by Phil Brockman. Phil Brockman, the Concordia graduate. A couple of 12-win seasons when he first took over here at Concordia, then had that 8-15 campaign of the 2020-2021 season. That was when Johnny Washington was a freshman, and he was one of the top scorers at Concordia at the time. But, you know, the Cadets have built up since then. Obviously, Washington continues to play great. The addition of Cole Hayworth, this Concordia team has really come a long way. And, of course, you think about the defensive guys like Avery Cook and the shooting of Joe Tapp and David Speckard. And tonight, Alan Termolin has had a great night. We've got 47.2 seconds left here on the clock. Now, if the intent there for Concordia was to get the clock down under a minute, they did that. They've got 47.2 left to go. And they can technically work the clock down as long as they want to. There's no shot clock in Indiana high school basketball, but Dwenger has been stingy tonight. Sam Campbell's gone after a couple of steals. That's something to watch out for. Al Termolin was open. Instead, they go to Washington. It's been mostly zone defense by the Saints. Washington and Cook continue to exchange passes. This time it's not just Campbell chasing 2 guys. It was Stellan Rustin chasing 2 guys earlier in the game. Campbell looked like he got a piece of that one. Now Cook feeds it over to Tapp. We're down to 20 seconds. Concordia looks like they're holding for the final shot. Campbell still lurking. Well, no look there to Washington. Coming down toward 10. We're at 10. Tapp. Back to Washington. Washington, a deep one. No good. Cook trying to hoist it up. Out of bounds. Dwenger ball. Phil Brockman was trying to call a timeout. I'm not sure Cook had possession. The officials are going to discuss this. I'm not sure Avery Cook had possession. See what the verdict is here. Phil Brockman was signaling he had called timeout. Right now, there's 1.6 seconds showing on the clock. I think they gave Concordia the timeout. Well, it's still showing 2 timeouts left for Concordia, which if they gave Concordia the timeout, they should only have 1. Now Dwenger calls a timeout. I haven't heard anything official yet, but I'm going to guess that this is Dwenger basketball with 1.6 seconds. That's the time that we have on the clock right now, 1.6, but I haven't seen an official signal saying Dwenger ball or timeout Concordia. And again, By my calculations, Concordia, if they took the timeout there, should have one. They're listed as having just two. So that would suggest that it's Dwenger ball with 1.6 seconds to go. Are we going to get some kind of miracle finish here in Garrett? It's looking like either a miracle finish or overtime. Well, this game was originally going to be played on Saturday night, but because of the snow on Friday night, the sectional semifinals, you may remember, got pushed back to Saturday night, and now here we are having the championship game on a Monday night, still trying to decide who's going to regionals at Newcastle. The winner of this game, we do know, will play Twin Lakes, and it's going to be Dwenger ball. Well, we're likely either going to get a miraculous finish or another trip to overtime between the Saints and the Cadets. And right now the official's telling Phil Brockman to back up. 1.6 on the clock. Sam Campbell will inbound. Now Concordia is going to have to keep an eye on the low paint, not let anybody get behind him. Desperation. Oh, my goodness! Aslan Nolan wins it for the Saints. Are you kidding me? Aslan Nolan from way beyond the three-point line. And the Dwenger Saints are going to regionals. Aslan Nolan, the hero at Garrett. Well, this is worth another look on our Traction AP replay. I'm surprised that Nolan put this ball on the ground, but then he just threw up a desperation shot. Preston Ross was right there for the rebound, but he didn't need to get a rebound there. Aslan Nolan, heroic shot to win the game for Bishop Dwenger. And the Saints are moving on to Newcastle for regionals, where they will take on Twin Lakes. Already had one big upset in Class 3A where Norwell was knocked off by Peru, and now we've got another one. Bishop Dwenger comes up with the win against Concordia to take the sectional championship here at Garrett. Well, we will take a break and hopefully get a word in from head coach Matt Kostoff at the back end of this. You are watching sectional basketball here on SummitCitySports.com and IHSATV.org.
I was once a Southside kid who was led on a journey by high school football. A journey that taught me discipline, toughness, and the skills that made me a success. As a businessman with a CPA license who owns his own firm, I still use the building blocks of high school sports in my everyday life. Someday sports will end no matter what level you reach, but you will be left with the skills to compete in the next game, the game of life.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Serious sports looked a lot different back in 1952 when Jim Kelly opened his first dealership in Fort Wayne. 70 years later, that original dealership has grown into the Kelly Automotive Group with 14 brands in 3 locations, including our new Fort Wayne Auto Mall and Kelly Chevrolet on Lima Road. Fort Wayne continues to support our local teams and businesses. Thank you for 70 years. We could have never done it without you. Visit us today at drivekelly.com.
Well, we are joined by Bishop Dwenger head coach Matt Kostoff. Well, Coach, first of all, congratulations on the win. Another hard-fought game against Concordia. This time you come out with a win. How proud are you of the guys to fight back and win this thing?
Oh, unbelievably proud, Thad. We started 1-9 this year, and we've been on 11-4 run. So, the first game, always there. Concordia is a great program, well-coached team. We knew it was going to be a battle. Both teams. I think we set offensive basketball back about 20 years, but it was punch, counter, punch, punch, counter, punch, and maybe karma was on our side the last 2 times we played over at their place. They beat us at the buzzer. So just a crazy game, but very proud of the guys just for all year the way they stuck with things.
Well, there's a few players we could talk about. For instance, so we'll just start by talking about Aslan Nolan. What an incredible shot he made at the end of it. What was going through your mind as the ball left his hands?
To be honest, I was blocked by the coaches. I didn't even see it go in. So, it's nothing we had run before. We just tried to send Preston long, and the other guys just kind of cut to the basket. And Aslan had great presence of mind. He's grown up a lot this year as a sophomore. We kind of threw him to the fire, and he made a great shot.
Now, Preston Ross had a great game tonight. I think it was 21, 23 points. High-scoring game for Preston. How much does he mean to your team for what he does down low?
He's been our best player all year. Like I said, the start of the year was rough. Sam was coming back from a pretty bad football injury, and Preston's carried us all year, and he's just got better and better. And he needed to tonight because we had some other scorers were struggling. Just like with them, Termolen had a career night for him. So Preston he's been our foundation.
Now Sam Campbell, not a high-scoring night, but he was playing real well on the defensive side, hustling after loose balls, trying to create loose balls, and even succeeding at doing so on a number of occasions. What can you say about Sam's night on the defensive side?
Just love him. He's been playing varsity 3 years, dressed as a freshman. He is an ultra competitor, sometimes too much, a little bit at times. Got great instincts no matter what sport he's playing, football, basketball, or baseball. And Sam's our motor, as you know.
Well, your next game, I do believe, is against Twin Lakes in regionals. How much of a challenge do you expect from Twin Lakes up in Newcastle come Saturday?
I have no idea what they do, Thad, to be totally honest. I saw that they won, but our focus was all on this game. So we got a few days, a shorter turnaround time, but we'll be ready.
All right, head coach Matt Kostoff of the Dwenger Saints joins us. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
So the Saints get the win at sectionals here at Garrett High School. Back and forth game, and Dwenger wins it on an incredible shot by Aslan Nolan in the end. We'll be back in just a moment here on SummitCitySports.com and IHSAATV.org.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Dealing with joint pains, sprains, strains, or back pain? Make the Parkview Ortho Express walk-in clinic your first stop when you have an orthopedic or sports injury. Located at the Sport One Parkview Fieldhouse, Ortho Express has specialized orthopedic physicians on staff when you need it most. Get x-rays, treatment, and referrals to Parkview Care, all in the convenience of a walk-in clinic. Ortho Express is open Monday through Thursday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Friday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 260-266-4007 for more.
Well, the Bishop Dwenger Saints win the sectional championship here at Garrett, and I believe that is Aslan Nolan cutting down the net. Nolan, the hero of this game, he hits the game-winning shot, a deep, deep three to win the game for the Saints. Check that. That's Ethan Roy, number 4, not number 24. But it was Aslan Nolan who made the three to win the game for the Saints. An incredible shot that was. Preston Ross finishes the night with 21 points in the end, easily the top scorer for Dwenger in this game. Sam Campbell, low-scoring night, but he hit some big shots down toward the end, and not just his shooting. Campbell played great defensively. He was hustling after loose balls, creating loose balls, and making things difficult for these Concordia guards. Now, you knew that the Dwenger bigs were going to make an impact tonight. There's one of them, Caleb Lehrman. Now, Lehrman had a low-scoring night tonight, only 2 points in the game, but Preston Ross picked up the slack, no doubt, 21 points. to lead all Dwenger scorers, and he makes a huge impact to help the Saints win this game and move on to Newcastle. Their Saints will play in regionals. Their first game is against Twin Lakes. That's scheduled for this coming Saturday. So that last net was cut down by number 14, Luke Jackway. Saints are going to continue cutting down the nets here at Garrett High School. And then they're going to move on and head to Newcastle for regionals. And that's going to do it for this broadcast at Garrett High School. For my cameraman, Carson Watkins, this is Thad Goff saying so long. The Bishop Dwenger Saints are winners over Concordia, 36-33. Well, before we go, we ought not forget, our Parkview Sports Medicine player of the game is going to be none other than Aslan Nolan for hitting this game-winning shot. Aslan Nolan with a desperation three to send Dwenger to victory and on to regionals at Newcastle. Aslan Nolan, your Parkview Sports Medicine player of the game. And that is Aslan Nolan cutting down the nets as he gets a loud cheer from the crowd. Every Dwenger Saint is going to get to cut down a piece of nylon from that basket. And if I'm not mistaken, Matt Kostoff, the head coach, gets to take home the net, or take down the rest of the remaining net. Matt Kostoff wins his 5th sectional championship as Dwenger's head coach. A year where the Saints started 1-9. They close out the season with a sectional championship, and they're on to regionals at Newcastle. And now, for my cameraman Carson Watkins, this is Thad Goff saying so long from Garrett High School. You've been watching sectional championship basketball on SummitCitySports.com and the IHSAA TV network.
I came into PSM my freshman year after volleyball. Just coming here just really improved mentally and physically. I brought in my strengths. I came in and I learned how to grow as an athlete. I mean, I've gotten stronger, sprint faster, get up higher. My jump has elevated. Working with Tyler, he built up my endurance for everything, whether it's in weights, sprints. All across the board, we just keep working, and I have athlete development at Warsaw High School that I go to, and so I send him my thing every day, and he changes what we do in here to adapt to what we do there. High school volleyball, when you can go up to 5 sets, being able to just outwork everybody and still being able to put in that 100% was huge for me. PSM performance definitely helped me mentally. I know I can beat out people. I know I can work for what I have, and I know I can even go to the next level on the court. Looking at college, I can put on it. I'm training at a college level. I mean, I come in here and I watch college athletes train. You have hockey players, soccer. You look around and you see every type you can. Just being able to see that level, and I know that I can reach that level as well. You got to work to be the best, and that was just what I wanted to do. I knew that from a young age. I wanted to put in the work.
The athletes has always been here, and they're getting better. I'm watching, Summit City Sports, man, they're doing an awesome job. And, that's a plug. Them dudes are doing an outstanding job. And I'm able to be in Nashville and watch games on YouTube that they're broadcasting, and I'm seeing the talent. And it is just truly outstanding. And, you guys have seen the talent that's in the NFL now from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the talent that's coming up now, and the talent that, is just here, man. It's really cool.